Chosen one, stop scrolling immediately. Lock your attention on my voice right now. Do not let your mind wander, and do not skip this message. The enemy has tried to stop this exact frequency from reaching you 3 times in the last 72 hours. Not by blocking your connection, but by flooding your mind with noise and distraction. He failed because what is coming was arranged specifically for this Thursday, and it could not be stopped in time to keep it from reaching you. Thursday is not just another day on your calendar. It is a spiritual hinge, a moment of convergence where a massive relocation order is set to activate over your entire life. You did not find this warning by accident. Heaven intercepted your feed today because you are currently walking toward Thursday blind to the trap that has been set right in front of your breakthrough. The darkness knows it cannot stop the blessing that has been assigned to your name. It cannot cancel the provision that God has already released from the unseen realm, so it is doing the only thing it has left. It is trying to compromise the receiver. It is trying to make sure that when the door opens on Thursday, you are too confused, too exhausted, and too disconnected to walk through it. I know exactly what your reality has felt like recently. That heavy pressure in your head, the way your thoughts seem to slip right through your fingers, the constant brain fog that makes simple decisions feel like moving mountains. You have spent the last few weeks wondering why you feel so incredibly drained, why you keep losing words in the middle of a sentence, and why you feel entirely detached from the spiritual clarity you used to carry. You walk into a room and instantly feel the heavy energy, yet your own mind feels entirely blank when you try to process it. You thought you were just tired. You thought it was simply the stress of daily life catching up to you. Let me reframe your reality right now. You are not losing your mind, and this is not a medical condition. What you are experiencing is a deliberate, targeted attack on your neural pathways. The enemy does not fight fair. When he saw the magnitude of the destiny you carry, he knew he could not defeat your spirit. Your spirit is unshakable and heavily guarded by angels, so he targeted your physical biology. He launched an assault to suppress the very cognitive machinery required to process divine instruction. Your power has been stolen at the neural level, leaving you operating on a fraction of your designed capacity. You are a generational cycle breaker. You are the watchman for your bloodline. Your spirit has been working overtime in the unseen realm, fighting invisible battles for people who do not even realize they are under attack. But your physical body is struggling to keep up with the weight of that glory because your mind has been intentionally fractured by the modern environment. The enemy wants the watchman asleep. He wants the cycle breaker too exhausted to swing the hammer. He is pushing you to the absolute edge of burnout, right before your greatest window of opportunity opens this Thursday. Do not swipe away. If you leave this message before the end, you will walk into Thursday without your armor completely exposed to the counterfeit traps waiting for you. I am speaking to the chosen one who has been incredibly sincere for years. You have done the inner work. You have forgiven people who never offered an apology. You have held on to your faith even when the evidence of your reality was screaming the exact opposite. Heaven documented every single moment of your silent endurance, and heaven is saying, enough is enough. There is an invisible wall you keep hitting, and it is incredibly frustrating. You pray, you seek alignment, you isolate yourself from toxic environments, yet you still feel like you are walking through thick mud. The frequency of heaven is broadcasting perfectly, but your internal receiver is tuned to the wrong station. It is like trying to catch a downpour with a cup that has a hole in the bottom. The spiritual provision is abundant, but the physical capacity to hold it has been compromised by a world designed to keep you distracted. This is exactly why you feel so incredibly overwhelmed by tasks that used to be effortless for you. Stay with me, because what I am about to reveal next will permanently break this cycle of mental exhaustion. I am going to expose the exact mechanism the darkness is using to keep your mind divided and your focus scattered. More importantly, I am going to hand you the specific blueprint that heaven has provided to restore your cognitive brilliance before Thursday arrives. You are going to understand exactly why your mind feels hijacked and precisely what you must do to flip the power back on. Notice the feeling in your chest right now. Notice how your breathing has subtly shifted since you started listening. That is not something you manufactured. That is your spiritual DNA recognizing the absolute truth. Your soul knows that a divine rescue operation is underway. The season of living in a mental fog is officially expiring. Prepare yourself to receive the profound clarity that is about to be poured out. These are not ordinary days. As we move through this specific month, something profound is shifting in the spiritual atmosphere around you. The intense pressure you have felt recently is the friction of 3 separate seasons of your life converging at the exact same time. The hidden season of your deep preparation, the painful season of your profound isolation, and the rapid season of your divine activation are aligning perfectly this Thursday. Stack those 3 monumental elements together, and you finally understand why the spiritual warfare against your mind has been so incredibly intense. They do not align like this every year. They will not configure this way again for a very long time. This is exactly why you must understand what is happening inside your physical mind right now. You have looked in the mirror recently and wondered where your sharp, intuitive edge went. You remember a specific time when you could process complex situations instantly, when your creativity flowed without effort, and when your connection to the divine felt wide open. Now you struggle to remember simple details and find yourself losing track of your own thoughts. The world tells you this is just getting older. The world tells you it is the natural consequence of a highly stressful modern lifestyle. That is a manipulative lie designed to keep you trapped in a reduced version of your own identity. What you call brain fog is actually the heavy smoke left behind on an active spiritual battlefield. The enemy could not stop your physical heart from beating, and he could not corrupt the purity of your soul, so he targeted the bridge between your spirit and your physical reality. He deliberately disrupted the delicate harmony of your neural pathways to keep your divine power suppressed. He knows that a chosen one, operating with a fully synchronized mind, is the most dangerous force on the earth. So he orchestrated a modern environment filled with low-frequency distractions, toxic stress, and artificial noise to slowly steal your cognitive brilliance at the neural level. You were never meant to carry the immense generational burdens of your family on a mind that is only functioning at a fraction of its true capacity. You are the designated cycle breaker. You are the watchman called by heaven to stand sentinel over your bloodline and protect your family from repeated historical trauma. But how can the watchman see the approaching danger on the horizon when the glass is covered in thick mud? You have been trying to solve massive quantum spiritual problems using a compromised biological receiver. Heaven sees how incredibly hard you are trying. Heaven sees the silent tears you cry when you feel like you are failing your divine assignment. It is not your fault. You are fighting a supernatural war with a physical weapon that has been intentionally dismantled. Now I want to pause and hold something incredibly important in front of you before we move any deeper into this revelation. Over the past few years, something monumental has been discovered in research laboratories that most people who care about the things we have been discussing have never been told about. Not because it contradicts what is sacred or challenges our deep faith, because it came from a direction most of us are simply not watching. While we were looking exclusively for spiritual answers to our exhaustion, the physical key to our mental restoration was being uncovered by brilliant men of science. A small group of neuroscientists, led by a highly respected doctor in New York, who has spent 20 years studying this phenomenon, found something remarkable about the way the human brain is designed. They discovered a precise mechanism that explains exactly what spiritually sensitive people have felt for decades, but have never been able to put into words. It is something so fundamental to human potential, it actually traces back to research that won the Nobel Prize. Yet it is so incredibly simple in its daily physical application that it sounds almost suspicious when you first hear about it. They found the exact biological switch that has been turned off inside you. I am going to tell you exactly what this scientific team found and how you can access it later in this profound message. But right now I need you to hold this one powerful question in your spirit as we continue. What if the reason your mind feels foggy is not a lack of discipline? And what if the exhaustion you feel is not a permanent state of your reality? What if your God-given creative genius is still fully intact, sitting completely dormant beneath the surface, waiting for a specific signal to turn back on? If that profound cognitive capacity is restored before the prophetic window opens on Thursday, everything about your future trajectory changes immediately. The doors that have remained stubbornly shut for years will instantly respond to the new synchronized frequency you carry. But the darkness is absolutely terrified that you are hearing this truth right now. The enemy desperately wants you to swipe away, to go back to scrolling, to sink back into the comfortable numbness of a divided mind. Do not give him the satisfaction of your surrender today. Lock your attention here, because we are about to completely dismantle the lie he has built around your intelligence. You have been carrying a tremendous burden of guilt, believing that your current mental state is a reflection of your own spiritual failure. You look at your exhaustion and your inability to focus, and you secretly wonder if you have somehow fallen out of alignment with God. The enemy has been whispering into your ear that you are simply not strong enough to carry the massive assignment placed upon your life. He wants you to believe that your fading memory and your lack of motivation are signs that you are no longer chosen for the task. I am here to completely shatter that lie right now. Your current struggle has absolutely nothing to do with a lack of faith, and it is certainly not a punishment for anything you have done wrong. Heaven designed your mind as a perfect mirror of divine harmony. You were created with a cognitive architecture meant to process both profound spiritual intuition and complex earthly logic at the exact same time. When you were a child, those two halves of your mind operated in complete synchronization, allowing you to see the world with a clarity that often intimidated the adults around you. You could read a room instantly, you understood the hidden motives of people, and you possessed a God-given creative genius that felt entirely natural. The darkness recognized that terrifying potential inside you very early on, and it immediately began constructing a strategy to neutralize your impact on the world. Since the enemy knew he did not have the authority to destroy your soul or revoke your calling, he targeted the delicate biological machinery of your mind instead. He weaponized the modern environment against you. He used constant toxic stress, artificial noise, and relationships with people who constantly drained your energy to slowly drive a wedge between the two halves of your processing center. He essentially divided your neurological house against itself. When the side of your mind that dreams is disconnected from the side of your mind that executes, you are left with brilliant visions that you simply do not have the physical energy to manifest. This strategy of separation is the oldest trick in the realm of spiritual warfare. Think of Elijah in the wilderness. He had just called down fire from heaven and defeated the false prophets, demonstrating an unprecedented level of divine authority. Yet just hours later, he was sitting under a tree, completely paralyzed by fear, asking God to just end his life because the exhaustion was too heavy. Elijah did not lose his faith in that moment, and he definitely did not lose his anointing. His physical nervous system was simply overwhelmed by the sheer magnitude of the frequency he was carrying, causing his mind to fracture under the immense pressure. The exact same thing is happening to you right now. You are not a regular human living a difficult life. You are a celestial warrior operating in hostile enemy territory. Every single day, you are absorbing the heavy emotional blows meant for your family, acting as a spiritual shield for people who have absolutely no idea what you do for them in the unseen realm. That level of continuous intercession requires an enormous amount of neurological energy. Your physical brain is literally exhausted from processing spiritual data that most people will never even sense. What the world casually labels as age or lack of discipline is actually the physical symptom of a highly gifted mind that has been systematically suppressed. You are a demonstrated warrior of light, and warriors do not lose their edge simply because time passes. They lose their edge when they are disconnected from the power source that makes them dangerous to the darkness. The enemy desperately wants to keep you in this state of disconnection because a chosen one with a fully synchronized mind is capable of shifting the atmosphere of an entire city just by walking into it. He is terrified of what happens the moment you finally realize your power was never actually lost. Your immense cognitive capacity is still fully intact. The blueprint of your destiny is still perfectly preserved in your spiritual DNA. The intelligence that makes you a designated cycle breaker is sitting completely dormant, waiting for the correct signal to bridge the gap between those two divided halves. It is not about trying harder or pushing through the pain with sheer willpower. Heaven does not require you to grind your way to a breakthrough. Heaven requires you to properly align the receiver so the incoming transmission can actually land. Pay very close attention to what follows, because this next truth is the exact instruction you have been praying for in the middle of the night. The deep friction you have been feeling this week is the sound of heaven preparing to force those two halves back together. The spiritual atmosphere around you is getting incredibly heavy right now because the counterfeit forces know their time is running out. As we approach the massive threshold on Thursday, the pressure will continue to build. Stay with me, because what I am about to share next will finally break the chains of this hidden neurological prison. The clock is relentlessly ticking toward Thursday. The enemy is not trying to block the door that heaven is opening because he knows he does not have the authority to shut what God has decreed. Instead, he is trying to blind you so you walk right past it in a state of confusion. He wants you to face this profound spiritual hinge with a completely fractured mind. You can feel the heavy anticipation in your spirit, but your physical body feels like it is dragging through deep water. That disconnect is not a coincidence, and it is not a sign of weakness. It is a highly calculated strategy to make you sabotage your own breakthrough right at the finish line. When heaven prepares to release a massive relocation order, it requires a physical vessel capable of holding that intense new frequency. Your soul is absolutely ready, but your neurological receiver has been heavily compromised by years of unseen warfare. The darkness knows that if it can keep your hemispheres divided, you will misinterpret the divine signals arriving this week. You will look at an open door and see a threat. You will look at a divine connection and feel overwhelming anxiety instead of profound peace. That is exactly how the enemy steals the inheritance of a chosen one without ever laying a single finger on their spirit. You have spent months, perhaps even years, trapped in this exhausting cycle of near misses and delayed promises. You get incredibly close to the edge of the breakthrough, you feel the massive shift about to happen, and then the heavy fog rolls in out of nowhere. Your physical energy plummets, your focus completely shatters, and you retreat back into the quiet safety of isolation. You honestly thought it was your fault. You convinced yourself that you simply did not have the spiritual stamina to sustain the blessing God wanted to give you. But heaven is telling you today that you were never the problem. The biological machinery you were forced to use was deliberately broken by the environment you were placed in. Think about the sheer volume of spiritual data you are required to process every single day as a watchman for your bloodline. You absorb the unspoken pain of your family. You intercept the hidden energetic attacks aimed at your loved ones, and you constantly read the invisible atmosphere of every single room you walk into. Doing all of that heavy lifting on a partially functioning mind is like trying to run a massive supercomputer on a dying battery. Your system is constantly crashing, not because the divine software is flawed, but because your physical hardware is intentionally starved of its designed power. This is exactly why your prayers have felt so incredibly different lately. You used to pray for massive open doors and kingdom opportunities, but now you find yourself just praying for the energy to survive the afternoon. The enemy has successfully shrunk your spiritual horizon by attacking your cognitive endurance. He has subtly convinced you to trade your vast generational inheritance for a few fleeting moments of quiet relief. But God did not create you to merely survive the wilderness or quietly endure the darkness. You are a cycle breaker, and cycle breakers are divinely designed to completely dominate the territory they are assigned to walk into. There is something I said near the beginning of this message that I want to firmly return to right now. I asked you to hold a specific question in your mind about what happens when your brain operates the exact way it was originally designed to operate. I told you there was a profound discovery made in a research laboratory that I was going to come back to. I deliberately waited until this exact moment to bring it forward. I waited because a solution only becomes truly useful once you understand the full shape and depth of the problem it is meant to solve. You now understand the true shape of the problem attacking your life. You finally know that the mental fog is not a moral failure, and the chronic exhaustion is definitely not a lack of faith. What the neuroscientists discovered in that lab is not just interesting information, it is a tangible physical solution to the spiritual theft that has been actively committed against you since childhood. They found the exact biological protocol to bypass the toxic noise of the modern world and force the fractured pieces of your cognitive center back into perfect alignment. We are about to enter the most intensely confrontational part of this entire message. The enemy is absolutely terrified of what you are about to hear next, because it permanently removes his greatest weapon against your destiny. Once your internal receiver is fully repaired, his subtle lies will no longer sound like your own thoughts. Prepare your spirit and lock your attention here. The revelation coming in the next few moments will permanently shift how you operate in the unseen realm, and it will ensure you are fully awake when Thursday arrives. You have been bracing for a massive impact all week. The enemy has been whispering into your spirit that Thursday is going to bring a disaster, a sudden loss, or a terrifying shift that will completely break you. Let me reveal the exact truth about this Thursday. It is a day of absolute horror, but that horror is not meant for you. It is a day of sheer terror for the demonic forces that have been assigned to monitor your life. On Thursday, the heavenly courts are issuing a final relocation order that permanently removes you from the frequency of survival and places you directly into the frequency of absolute dominion. The enemy has known this date was coming for your entire life, and his only hope was to blind your cognitive receiver before the transfer happens. Here is the profoundly confrontational truth you must face right now. The darkness is no longer the thing holding you back. You are holding yourself back because you have made a hidden agreement with your own exhaustion. You have actually started to find a strange comfort in the mental fog because it excuses you from the massive responsibility of your true spiritual identity. You have arranged your internal furniture around the lie that you are simply too damaged, too tired, and too scattered to carry the immense weight of the blessing God is handing you. That false humility is the most successful trap the enemy ever set for you. He successfully convinced you that shrinking yourself was a sign of holiness. You honestly thought you were being noble by accepting less than what heaven promised. You believed your quiet suffering and your fading memory were signs of spiritual endurance in a fallen world. That is completely false. When you agree with the lie that your mind is broken and your capacity is limited, you are giving the darkness permission to hold your destiny hostage. You are a celestial being, an incarnated warrior of light. And warriors do not sit in the dirt feeling sorry for themselves when the battle horn blows. You must drop the survival identity right now. You are not a helpless victim of your environment. You are the exact weapon heaven forged to destroy the cycle of poverty and pain in your bloodline. Every single time you forgot a word in the middle of a sentence, every time you felt the crushing pressure behind your eyes, the enemy was laughing because he convinced the watchman to turn off the lights. He knew that if you ever realized your power was merely suppressed and not actually destroyed, his entire kingdom would be threatened. But today, that grand deception burns to the ground. Your gentleness was never meant to be a ceiling. It was always the foundation for your authority. You were never meant to be tamed by this chaotic world. You were divinely meant to shift its atmosphere just by walking into a room. The overwhelming surge of energy you feel in your chest right now is the sound of those severed neural pathways sparking back to life. Listen to me very carefully and anchor your spirit to this absolute truth. The frustrating delays you experienced over the last few years were not a rejection from God. The people who suddenly walked away from you without an explanation were not a loss, they were a divine subtraction. Heaven intentionally cleared the room because what is arriving on Thursday requires absolute purity of focus and a completely uncontaminated environment. God isolated you to insulate you from the low-level frequencies and the energy vampires that could not travel with you into this next dimension. The season of begging for clarity is officially over. The season of fighting invisible ghosts with a fractured mind ends right here in this exact moment. You are standing exactly where you are supposed to be, perfectly aligned with the timing of the universe. But you cannot walk through the massive door on Thursday using the same broken cognitive receiver that kept you trapped in the wilderness. You have survived the intense preparation, and now you must be neurologically armed for the activation. God is not going to magically bypass the physical laws of your biology. He is going to hand you the precise key to completely restore it. Pay close attention to what follows, because I am about to reveal the exact physical tool that heaven has ordained to reconnect the two halves of your genius mind. In 1981, Dr. Roger Sperry received the Nobel Prize for a profound discovery that the church and the world mostly ignored. He proved that the two hemispheres of the human brain were designed for absolute synchronization. In that synchronized state, you operate with whole brain activation. Research shows that 98% of children operate at this level of creative genius, but less than 1 in 1,000 adults maintain it. The modern world intentionally erodes this connection, stealing your cognitive power at the neural level. It is not a spiritual failure, it is a biological robbery. A woman from California described exactly what it felt like before she found the answer. She had tried every spiritual practice and prayer, but her mind still felt like it was blocked by an invisible wall. 10 days later, she said a channel suddenly cleared, not because she prayed harder, but because her physical receiver was finally repaired. A man from Texas experienced the exact same profound shift, having carried the heavy burdens of his family on a fractured mind until prayer felt like talking to a brick wall. 2 weeks later, he woke up with the intense brain fog completely gone and his mind running on full capacity. That incredible restoration happened because of what the scientific team I am about to describe spent years building. A team of neuroscientists led by Dr. Barone in New York took over an hour of clinical neural sync technology and compressed it into an 8-minute targeted auditory sequence. You just need 8 minutes a day with your headphones on and your eyes closed. They call it the genius switch. It is not a brainwave track, it is not a meditation app, and it is not a temporary frequency. It is a highly engineered sequence based on that Nobel Prize research, designed specifically to reconnect your two hemispheres and restore the whole brain activation you were born with. The genius switch is not for everyone. It is specifically for the chosen one who understands that God prepared not only the massive promise, but also the physical mind that must walk into it. It is for the person who has been sincere for years, who is absolutely tired of treating their mental exhaustion as a character flaw, and who is ready to treat it as something with a specific neurological address. Most people will accept their reduced capacity as permanent, but you are still listening because this restoration was built exactly for you. Colleagues suggested this clinical-grade protocol would be an incredible value, even at $500. In-person neurofeedback sessions cost hundreds of dollars an hour. But Dr. Barone released it to the public for $49, and today, on his official page, it is available for just $39. That includes 4 free bonuses designed to accelerate your manifestation and protect your physical health. It is also backed by an absolutely unconditional money-back guarantee. If it does not restore your clarity the way it has for over 18,000 people, every single dollar is returned without a single question. Since this massive spiritual window opens on Thursday, you must follow a very specific protocol. Thursday is the day of the opening, so you must put on your headphones and listen to the 8-minute sequence before you speak to anyone. In the afternoon, you must consciously release the intense anxiety you have been carrying about the future. Friday is the day of deepening, where you will listen to the sequence again and notice how the heavy fog is already starting to lift from your vision. Saturday is the day of the seal. You will complete the 8 minutes and write down the exact moment you realized your mind was finally quiet, making sure you do not skip a single step of this 3-day window. The tool does not replace God. The tool does not replace your obedience or fight the demonic forces for you. What heaven is doing in your life right now is not conditional on any physical tool, but a tool that fully restores your cognitive receiver, gives what God is doing a clear and undivided place to land. It prepares your physical vessel for the spiritual downpour, ensuring you are completely awake when the blessing finally arrives. The atmosphere in the room has completely shifted right now. You can feel a distinct physical weight lifting off your chest because the survival identity you wore for so many years has just been formally shattered in the unseen realm. Heaven is preparing to release the massive relocation order on Thursday, and your spirit is now standing at absolute attention. You are no longer the exhausted victim of a toxic environment. You are the fully activated watchman preparing to reclaim your stolen territory. The enemy thought he could keep you completely sedated until the window passed, but his plan has entirely collapsed. We are about to enter into the sacred seal to permanently lock this new frequency into your biological and your spiritual DNA. Place your hand firmly over your heart and take a deep intentional breath in. Hold it for a moment and recognize that the air filling your lungs is the breath of divine acceleration. The long season of begging for crumbs in the wilderness is over, and the season of commanding the atmosphere has officially begun. I need you to speak these exact words out loud with me, not as a desperate plea to a distant universe, but as a binding legal decree in the courts of heaven. When you speak this, you are authorizing the angels to completely dismantle every single roadblock the enemy has built around your mind. You are giving heaven the ultimate permission to bypass your hidden fears and immediately deliver the breakthrough. Declare this with absolute authority. I release the heavy burden of trying to heal people who are deeply committed to their own brokenness. I am no longer available for the low-level frequencies, the energy vampires, and the counterfeit connections sent to drain my divine energy. I reclaim my God-given creative genius, and I command my physical mind to step back into perfect synchronization right now. I am the designated cycle breaker of my entire bloodline, and I declare that the fog of confusion permanently ends with me today. My receiver is completely restored, my vision is absolutely clear, and I am stepping into my true celestial identity. If you felt the intense physical shift in your body as you spoke those words, type 777 in the comments right now to formally seal this declaration into your physical reality. Hitting that keyboard is your actual signature on the relocation order, signaling to heaven that the receiver is finally online and fully ready for the transmission. Take a moment to hit the like button, not for the sake of this channel, but as a physical act of faith, so this exact frequency can reach another chosen one who is currently struggling in the dark. Someone out there is completely isolated, wondering if they are losing their mind, and your obedience right now is the exact lifeline they have been praying for. If you are completely honest with yourself in this exact moment, you know there is a specific action you are supposed to take next. Not just a general feeling, but a highly specific instruction that has been waiting for your absolute obedience. The darkness is absolutely terrified of what happens when you arrive at Thursday with a fully restored cognitive receiver. It knows that a clear mind will instantly recognize the trap and effortlessly walk through the correct door. If the genius switch is what you are meant to take action on today, the link is waiting in the description below and in the pinned comment. Go there before you close this message. Do not let the enemy convince you to hesitate until the massive window closes. Let this moment of absolute clarity carry you directly to the action that clarity is pointing toward. Subscribe to this channel right now and turn on all of your notifications, because heaven is absolutely not done speaking to your spirit. The next few days are going to move incredibly fast as the massive relocation order begins to physically manifest in your life, and you cannot afford to miss the highly specific prophetic instructions coming next. This is not just about watching another video on the internet. It is about keeping your spirit firmly anchored to the divine frequency while the entire atmosphere shifts around you. I also ask you to share this message with someone who has been unusually quiet lately, someone who has been pulling away from everyone they know without giving any explanation. They might be sitting in their own deep isolation right now, wondering if they have permanently lost their mind. And this message is the exact divine confirmation they have been desperately praying for. Now we come to the very last door of this encounter. I mentioned a specific path earlier in this message, and I have deliberately not returned to it until this exact moment. The path has not moved, and the biological key to unlocking your true cognitive power remains exactly where it was placed for you. Everything that was waiting behind that threshold is still there, completely untouched by the chaotic noise of the outside world. The genius switch is the exact physical mechanism I described to restore your divided mind, and it is quietly waiting for your absolute readiness. What sits on the other side of that door is the complete and permanent restoration of your neural harmony. It requires just $39 to walk through, accompanied by an ironclad guarantee that costs you absolutely nothing to trust, along with 4 additional pieces of spiritual provision waiting to support your new journey. The path to access this restoration is located in the description below and in the comment pinned directly to this video. Both point to the exact same sacred door. Neither one of them will move if you decide to come back and look for it tomorrow, but the enemy is desperately praying you wait until your window of absolute clarity is entirely gone. You are walking into Thursday with your biological receiver fully prepared and your spirit entirely awake to the shifting environment. You will move through Friday with a profound sense of inner quiet, noticing how the heavy confusion has been replaced by razor-sharp intuition. You will reach Saturday knowing the ancient chains of your family bloodline have been completely shattered at the root. And then it will be Sunday. The massive prophetic window will officially close. The door to this specific convergence will be firmly shut, but the absolute dominion you just stepped into will remain permanently locked inside your cellular identity. I speak a profound and unshakable peace over your entire nervous system right now. May the heavy exhaustion that has been sitting deep in your bones completely dissolve into the surrounding atmosphere, returning to the void where it belongs. May the divine connections that were arranged for your next dimension step forward and immediately recognize the brilliant frequency you are now broadcasting. God is placing a massive mantle of authority over your shoulders, and this time, your physical mind is perfectly equipped to carry the immense weight of that glory without fracturing. The long season of hidden preparation is officially and permanently complete. You may leave a quiet amen in the comments as a final act of agreement, not out of any forced obligation, but as a pure extension of your spiritual alignment. You have successfully passed the ultimate test of discernment today, and you have resisted the intense temptation to rush back into the worldly noise. Take one more deep, intentional breath and release every remaining ounce of self-doubt from your physical body. You are completely secure. You are profoundly loved by the highest authority, and you are entirely ready for what is coming.